agreed to print billions more in imaginary money to save the world economy and stop the naughty bankers from being, well, so naughty in future. London gave them its traditional welcome, with thousands upon thousands flocking onto the streets. Yes, journalists and photographers were everywhere, along with a few Trustafarian protesters and police officers. A branch of the Royal Bank of Scotland was trashed, but that's pretty small beer. Fred the Shred trashed the whole bank months ago. Meanwhile, across town, the Queen and Prince Philip were giving their traditional welcome. Her Maj showed leaders her humble home. Phil the Greek put his foot in it. Oh yes, and the G20 family photo had to be retaken after the Canadian Prime Minister went missing in action. His spokesman insisted he was being, quote, briefed by officials. Turns out he was in the loo. The summit was naturally a triumph for the great leader. No longer Keynesian socialism in one country, but Keynesian socialism for the planet. It also provided a welcome distraction for our MPs, relieved that the media was focusing on that rather than their inflation-busting pay rise, or the cash injection into their pensions, or what was it? Yes, their expenses. This week we learned what the Home Secretary's husband gets up to when she's away, at her main home in a dunny in her sister's house in London. He watches Brad Pitt movies, along with others starring lesser-known folk taking their clothes off. And speaking of stars of stage and screen, sadly we couldn't find any. So instead, I'm joined by Diane Abbott and my